All right, welcome to News 6 Extra. I am Christopher Heath. Just the microphone here. There we go. Proper microphone placement is crucial. Correct, Penny?
Oh.
Penny's here. Oh.
Yes, Penny
there
is
she
here.
is.
Hi.
Yay.
And that is correct.
Yes, the much mentioned Penny.
Mm-hmm.
Filling in today for Kathleen as Kathleen is enjoying her time off, and Penny is running around like a chicken with her head cut off trying to get all this online on ready to go. I just saunter over here, sit down, and just rattle stuff off. You did hard work today, so thank you.
Thank you for letting everyone know that.
Yeah, no, I literally, I sit here, you hand me my scripts, I sit here a couple minutes before, and I'm like, nah, sounds good. That looks like what we'll be doing today. So
You're like, those
good.
look like words.
Those look like words.
I'll read them.
Whatever she writes here, I'll just rattle this on off. Yes. So, all right. Thank you, Penny, for all of this. We have some breaking news that we want to start with today. We've been following this story for the last several years, the Tina Algeo story. And this comes about after an altercation on Colonial Drive in Orange County, kind of on the eastern side of Orange County. And what happened was there was a road rage incident, and Tina Algeo and the other driver basically got into a confrontation. Well, she was in court today for a hearing on this. And now we were originally thinking this might be a motion to dismiss. This is a case, as you may remember, that State Attorney General James Utmeyer had said should have never been brought because, as he put it, this should have been a clear stand your ground case. Well, in Florida, stand your ground is a pretrial immunity defense, and at trial you can also claim self-defense, but pre-trial you can claim self-defense through stand your ground, which is a pre-trial hearing. That's what we thought today was going to be. It turns out what happened was Ms. Algeo's attorney, Mark O'Mara, and the Ninth Judicial Circuit State Attorney, you see her there, Monique Worrell, reached a plea deal for this case. And Tina Algeo decided to plead no contest to aggravated battery. In exchange for that, the murder charge was dropped. Here's what some of those involved today had to say about all of this.
I can tell you that I believe that the interference in this case was wholly and completely improper. You should not use your elected or appointed position to influence the impact of a case in the criminal legal system, particularly one that you do not have the information that's necessary to comment on.
I think it was horrific. I agree with Ms. Worrell in that sense. I think it was horrific. Beneficial to my client, maybe in some weird sense, but I don't think it's appropriate for any politician to get involved in the system.
You may remember Mark O'Mara. Mark O'Mara defended George Zimmerman in the killing of Trayvon Martin. That's what he is, I think, most recently well known for. So obviously, Mark O'Mara, a very competent, very skilled criminal defense attorney and a great student of the law, knows the law very, very well. And to hear him say that, he felt like that what the Florida State Attorney James Utmeyer said, getting involved in this case was inappropriate, I think speaks volumes for the fact that we do have a rule of law in Florida, and we do have a criminal justice system, and certain rules are in place. And again, in this case, if the defense wanted to raise a stand your ground case, that is done pre-trial. You go in for the hearing. It's an immunity hearing, and it essentially short circuits the entire case. If the judge ultimately rules that you haven't met the burden for stand your ground, you can still claim self-defense during the actual trial. And at the actual trial, again, it is the state that has the burden of showing beyond a reasonable doubt that you did not act in self-defense. Certain elements of this story were never in doubt. It was just a question of what I think you would ultimately call motive, mens rea, and this is where it all ends up. So it is the justice system playing itself out the way it is supposed to. From there to what we've been monitoring with Hurricane Melissa. Obviously, Hurricane Melissa making landfall as an extraordinarily powerful Cat 5 hurricane in Jamaica, crosses the island and then heads to Cuba, crosses that island, and now is heading towards the Bahamas. But what the devastation it did to Jamaica, we're getting pictures and videos coming out of the island, and it is quite astounding. So answering the call for some of that is Central Florida Attorney Dan Newland, who this morning loaded up his jet to fly down to Jamaica to help deliver some relief. Angie Casada was there as the plane was loaded, and Dan Newland headed out.
Newland's team plans on running multiple flights just like this one here on the tarmac, bringing aid and partnering with faith-based groups and local organizations to reach the most impacted areas. At Orlando International Airport, crews loaded up relief supplies into Dan Newland's private jet, filled with food, water, and medical aid headed to Jamaica. The attorney said his team could not sit by after seeing the destruction Hurricane Melissa left behind. He's partnering with reggae artist Shaggy.
So seeing these images and such, reached out to the hospitals in Kingston, Montego Bay, and found out what their needs were. And that's how we got started. Really working directly with the hospitals was Shaggy's most important objective. And so that's what we're doing now. We also got a lot of medicine that was donated by local physicians.
The Category 5 storm pummeled Jamaica with 185-mile-per-hour winds, leaving neighborhoods in ruins, entire communities cut off, and nearly 80% of the island without power. There's widespread flooding and mud-filled roads in St. Elizabeth Parish, where classrooms, homes, and historic buildings were flattened. Local leaders say hundreds of families remain in shelters, and relief crews are still struggling to clear major roads.
Historic buildings, churches, courthouse, the parish council, and all the heritage buildings have been destroyed.
I'm really happy to be out here helping out and knowing that collectively we're all making a difference. It's a way to remind people, like, there's a lot of people suffering like 3 hours from here, and we can all maybe find a way to chip in or do something cool to help them out.
Newland said his team is expected to be the first plane to land in Jamaica by late afternoon, and he's already working with other local businesses to gather more donations for additional relief flights. In Orlando, I'm Angie Casada, News 6.
And obviously the attention in Jamaica is to rebuilding and, trying to make people whole and try, help the communities and people who are suffering. But it's also to remember that there are other ways that you can help. And in Gatorland here locally is offering help for the Kingston Zoo, putting together some relief efforts as well, raising money for the communities in and around the zoo as well as the zoo itself. We have information as to how you can donate at clickorlando.com. It's our own Stephanie Rodriguez. You see her there touring through Gatorland for a report on that, which we do have up on clickorlando.com if you'd like to see the full report or if you'd like to go and figure out how you can possibly help donate as well. So from the devastation we saw down in Jamaica to here at home, where again we still have communities that are recovering after that torrential downpour that we had Sunday night into Monday morning. And in Lake County, one home teetering kind of on a bit of a precipice there, the rainfall really carving through the land and putting homes in danger. Now, not just homes though, some of the home owners are now saying it is a perception that Lake County is shut down, that's putting their businesses in danger as well. They want to let people know that, yes, while they are rebuilding and dealing with some of the damage, that the county and specifically their downtowns and their businesses are open. Emily McLeod has this story.
Just 7 weeks before she is set to give birth, historic flooding caused a washout underneath Claire Ernst's home, leaving it condemned.
We just finished getting the nursery ready on Sunday, and so I was really hopeful that we would be back, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
On top of the damage at home, Ernst is also feeling the impacts of this weekend's weather at her business, Claire's Creperie in downtown Mount Dora. For business owners, the washout on Donnelly as well as the flooding has led people to believe downtown isn't open.
What we want to tell everybody is downtown's still open. There's other ways to access it besides Donnelly, and we need you to.
But if you come to downtown Mount Dora, it's a completely different picture compared to the damage that was left behind over the weekend. But some business owners tell me they're still taking a big hit to their business. Lisa Winslow owns Home Garden Treasures. This is supposed to be the start of their busiest time of year.
There couldn't be a worse time because fourth quarter is when people are here, the weather is nice, and people want to come to downtown to find unique things.
Just a couple doors down, Amy Becker, who owns Becker's Best Shoes, shares the same concerns.
Just over the last 2 days, and this morning we're over 40% down in sales.
Becker wants this to be a story of a community coming together to help each other recover.
We're going to help with the other home that's Claire's Creperie. We want to help with that. So I think the biggest thing is getting the word out that we love our customers, we need our customers.
In Mount Dora, I'm your Lake County Community Correspondent, Emily McLeod, News 6.
All right, stay with us. On the other side of the break, we will check the weather with Michelle Morgan. So, a local couple says a contractor took their cash and didn't do any work. And what else do we have happening in here? Oh, a dog. We'll have a dog story. That's coming up on the other side of this.
Americans are drowning in credit card debt, and new data shows it's only getting worse. The U.S. has always been a country that seemingly runs on credit, but as of late, more and more Americans are using their credit cards to bridge the gap between income and expenses. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, U.S. credit card debt hit a record $1.2 trillion in the second quarter of 2025, up more than $27 billion from just a few months earlier. Back in 2021, right in the middle of the pandemic, Americans owed less than $500 billion on their credit cards. Fast forward 4 years later, and we're carrying about $700 billion more in credit card debt, up nearly 140%. Increased credit card debt is a sharp reminder that inflation and slow wage growth are forcing millions of families to lean on plastic just to make ends meet. And it's not cheap debt. According to LendingTree.com, the average credit card interest rate now tops 21%. Nationwide, the average unpaid credit card balance is about $7,300. But in places like New Jersey and Florida, that average tops $9,000. So far, delinquency rates, balances overdue by more than 30 days, have stayed steady at around 2.9%. But that's nearly double what we saw before the pandemic, when delinquency rates were only about 1.5%. Economists warn that if inflation doesn't cool and wages don't rise, more Americans could find themselves stuck in what some call the credit card treadmill. For Dollars and Cents, I'm Donovan Myrie.
All right. It's beautiful outside. And we have Michelle Morgan to thank for all of that. There she is.
Oh, wow.
Hello, Michelle.
Thank you. Hi
This is
there. How
weather's
are you?
fantastic. It was brisk this morning when I took Lando and Rex for their morning walk. So thank you.
Oh, I'm sure they enjoyed it.
Yeah, fall is in the air, and getting ready for Halloween and getting ready to go trick or
Hmm.
treating, and it's going to be good. So, you got more good news for us?
Yes, I do. So, we've been talking about this strong cold front that passed through Central Florida yesterday, and it just brought that wonderful fall-like feel across the peninsula. And it looks like we're going to keep that fall-like feel for the next several days with a whole lot of, really not a whole lot of rain in sight. So that's great, especially for Halloween and the weekend that's coming up. So as you take a look at the setup here across Central Florida, you could see that cold front. It is to the south and east of us. Also, we're continuing to monitor Hurricane Melissa, which is a little over 500 miles away from the Florida coastline. But thankfully, this strong cold front will continue to guide that system northeast away from us. But we are looking at breezy conditions at the moment across Central Florida. Check out the winds here, getting wind gust readings of 30 miles per hour in Cape Canaveral, Cocoa Beach, 28 miles per hour. Even our inland cities are dealing with breezy conditions as well. 24 miles per hour in Orlando, 26 in Kissimmee, and 27 in Palm Coast. Now, it is going to remain breezy as we go through the next several days with those winds generally out of the northwest. So that is going to continue to pull in that cooler air from the north. So we'll be waking up to some 40s, even lower 50s as we kick off our Halloween holiday tomorrow. Now, I also want to show you the wave heights here. We are looking at some above normal wave heights, around 6 to 7 feet. We have a high rip current risk in place, and the boating conditions as of right now and also lasting into tomorrow, not the best. So just keep that in mind if you're doing any fishing, any boating. But as we take a look at the temperatures here, it just feels great out there. It is pleasant. The humidity is nice and low, and we're seeing abundant sunshine across our region. So we're at 66 in Ocala, 70 in the Villages, 75 in Kissimmee, 76 in Orlando, and then our coastal communities, 75 in Cape Canaveral, 77 in Cocoa Beach. So not too bad. Now, 24 hours ago, we were much warmer. So for today, we're much cooler, as you can see, about 8 degrees cooler in Orlando, 11 degrees cooler at New Smyrna Beach, and 9 degrees cooler in Daytona Beach, as well as Palm Coast. So that strong cold front definitely delivered that cooler air we have all been anticipating. So for the next several hours or so, temperatures will be steady in the upper 60s, lower 70s as we go through the afternoon hours, remaining breezy. I know it says Sunday up there, but it's supposed to say Thursday. But all in all, looking at a great forecast as we wrap up today. Forecast highs 72 in Orlando, Wedgefield, DeLand, 73 in Daytona Beach, 70 in Ocala, and 75 in Cocoa Beach. Now, tonight will get quite chilly as the cooler air continues to filter in. We're looking at 40s over our northern counties. So Marion County, Flagler County, parts of Lake, even Sumter counties, you all falling into the middle to upper 40s. And then we're looking east of the I-4 corridor, lower 50. So this will certainly be the coolest air of the season. We haven't seen these temperatures since around March, even April. So definitely looking forward to the cooler weather. You certainly need a jacket tomorrow morning, the kids a hoodie, a sweater as they're heading out to school. And as we all know, tomorrow is Halloween. Everybody that is dressing up, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better forecast. We're starting off in the 50s. It'll be a chilly, breezy start, comfortable in the afternoon with plenty of sunshine in the 70s across the region. And then sunset tomorrow is 6:40, and those temperatures will be in the lower to middle 60s. So it will be quite comfortable for all of those that are going trick-or-treating. So that's great news there. Clouds and rain forecast continuing to show a quiet setup as we go through your Thursday. We'll see a few clouds here and there, but notice no rain in the forecast as we go through not only today, not only tomorrow, through the next several days. Now, let's go ahead and touch on the tropics. We're continuing to watch Hurricane Melissa here. You can see it swirling over the Atlantic Ocean. It's a little over 500 miles away from our Florida coastline, so that's going to continue to kick up the surf. But the latest update from the National Hurricane Center as of the 11 a.m. advisory, it's a Category 2 hurricane. It has winds of 105 miles per hour, and it is moving to the north-northeast at 24 miles per hour. So it is moving much faster than it was about 3 to 4 days ago. Now, it is expected to bring some hurricane force winds or tropical storm force winds to Bermuda as we go through the next couple of hours or so. So just, the good news is with this storm is that it is continuing to move away from us, but it could bring impacts to the island as we go through that time frame there. And it is going to continue to weaken because it is going over much cooler waters. And that is the only named system that we are continuing to watch. So that's great news. We still have a month left of hurricane season. Remember, hurricane season ends November 30th, but I'll leave you here with your great 7-day forecast. Today, 72 degrees, tonight 52, tomorrow 74. We're in the lower 50s as well as we kick off the weekend. And the weekend forecast is looking great. Upper 70s on Saturday, upper 70s as well on Sunday. Also, if you don't know, daylight saving comes to an end. That means that we fall back. We set our clocks. I don't know if people still do that. I still do it. I still have an alarm clock. Set your alarm clock an hour back, and you get 1 hour more of sleep. So looking forward to that as well, Chris.
Thank you so much for that. And I know you and your family have a theme this year for your Halloween costumes, as you do every year. So,
Yes.
I mean, are we ready? Are we having to make adjustments to that this year because of the cooler temperatures?
Well, not really, but just as I expected, my son changed his mind. So my husband and I, we still have the theme going on, and my son is now Michael Jackson.
Out of nowhere. My youngest did the
Out
same
of
thing
nowhere.
to us. My wife and I
Yes,
are doing
he has the
characters from what we
glove.
do in
Yeah,
everything, huh?
yeah, so
No, as I say,
there's
my
that.
youngest decided he wanted to be Colonel Sanders.
That's a good one, too.
It's a very good costume.
Just
Yes,
Penny,
yes.
what about you? What's
My husband and I are going to be Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein.
Aw.
Oh, I love that.
Very cute.
Is somebody gonna yell at you and be like, "Oh, technically it's Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein was the doctor."
Well, I would expect if anyone was going to do that, it would be you. So thank you for doing that for me, getting it out of the way.
I was asking if anyone would. I'm simply asking questions here.
A real journalist. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, so back here at home, Louis Bolton with a great investigation here into a contractor. Now, a local couple says they paid this contractor thousands of dollars for renovations. They say the renovations were never done. And now, as Louis explains, there's actually a warrant out for the contractor's arrest. Here's the story.
Yeah, this is what he was supposed to do all the way down here.
82-year-old Irene Simon says she hired a handyman to repair the skirting around the bottom of her home. The work has now been completed by another company, but she says the original one ran off with her money.
What was your experience with Mr. Heasley?
Terrible. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but terrible.
Simon says she found Florida Priority Home Solutions online. She signed a contract to pay the company $3,000 for the job, with $1,500 up front, $500 in cash, and a check for $1,000.
And he was supposed to hold off on cashing that check until the end of the month.
Instead, the owner of the company, Chad Heasley, seen here on surveillance video, went to Amscott in Leesburg early and cashed the check. But the account had insufficient funds, according to the incident report.
And so what happened was Chad came to the house and he said that he needed to have $1,000, okay, to pay back Amscott.
Simon says she gave Heasley another $1,000 to pay back Amscott, but she says he never did.
So he just took the money and ran.
He took the money and left.
Simon reported the incident to the Lake County Sheriff's Office, who has now issued a warrant for Heasley's arrest.
So if he happens to be involved in a traffic stop or he comes in an encounter with law enforcement, then he would be arrested.
News 6 did some digging and found Florida Priority Home Solutions is not registered with the state.
On the contract they signed, the address for Florida Priority Home Solutions is listed as 4421 College Drive in Orlando. That's right off Ivy Lane, but as you can see, it's an empty lot.
We called the number on the contract and got a voicemail. We also went to an address in Point Siena, but we're told he has not lived there for more than a year.
If you have any information about Heasley, you're asked to call the crime line at 1-800-423-TIPS. I'm Louis Bolden, News 6.
Good story there by Lewis. And of course, you can count on Lewis to stay on top of that. And if you have any consumer-related issues, reach out to Lewis. He is there to help solve the problems for you. All right, Penny.
Chris.
I see in the copy in front of me. It says,
boy.
Penny the dog found, parenthetical, if we have time, ellipses. I don't like that dog has my name.
I think it's more that I don't like that I have a dog name. Like, if you meet a dog named Penny, that makes sense. That's a normal name for a dog. If you met a dog named Chris, that's a dog with a person name. I have a dog. I'm a person with a dog name.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I think Penny can go both ways. Now, if your parents had named you like Rover or Rex, then I think we're on to something here. And now we need to have a conversation with your folks and be like, don't do that. Don't name your sweet angel of a daughter after a dog. Penny, though, I think you're good.
My parents have a dog named Benny with a B, and so the dog and I would both get confused for who was being yelled. Yeah, Benny and Penny.
That would be confusing, especially if Benny left a pile in the living room. And then it was like, Benny, did you do this? And you think they say Penny, and you was like, yeah. And they're like, wait, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, thankfully that never happened. Anyway, the story's really cute. The story is so fun.
Really cute. It is, but this wouldn't be News 6 Extra if the extra didn't stand for me torturing you for at least a portion of the broadcast. So, all right, Alex Cook has the story about Penny, the quadruped, not Penny, the biped. Here it is.
I'm News 6's Alex Cook.
Story.
I don't know what happened.
Wow, she hates it that much that she deleted it in real. You saw that if you were watching.
No, it's
she saw the story start and she deleted it.
There's some kind of video problem happening. Oh, that's embarrassing. Anyway,
it's all very suspicious. Very suspicious. There are shenanigans happening that I don't approve of. First, we have Kathleen, who can't explain her whereabouts when the Louvre is robbed. Now, all of a sudden, all these suspects are being arrested, and she's not here today. Oh, Kathleen, I can't be here. Interpol is arresting people, and suddenly she's not here. And then we get to Penny the dog, a sweet, loving, kind animal with nothing but genuine goodness in her heart. And Penny de la Cruz says no.
As a quick explainer of the story, the dog was missing for 5 years. The dog is from Florida and was found in Mississippi very recently. It's a very sweet, very great story. You can read all about it on clickorlando.com. I don't know what happened to the video, but I didn't do it, and you can't prove it if I did.
I don't have to prove it. I simply have to raise the specter of it being real and let the people decide.
Yep, all those people.
Listen, we got a following.
We have a very committed, very dedicated.
Very committed, very dedicated. Okay, thank you, Penny,
for
all of your hard work. You do a fantastic job on this. You always have little notes in here reminding me not to be so evil, and I appreciate that.
Someone has to.
But I appreciate it. Yes, well, Halloween is a time for flexing your evil.
Mm-hmm. And Halloween, our audience is stuck with me.
They are. They'll be here. Yes, you'll be here tomorrow doing the whole show. So you know what? You are free to you should drag somebody else into this and give them the Heath treatment of just making their life uncomfortable for 30 minutes.
That's a really good idea. We'll see how it goes.
Could it be?
I have an idea.
I I'm eyeballing Thomas. I think.
Oh, I think it's Tom. I think I'm absolutely
Right over your shoulder there. Tom doesn't know what's coming his way tomorrow. But it's going to
Nope.
happen.
Bye.
Bye, Penny. All right, thank you to Penny for the wonderful show. Thank you to Michelle for the weather. And, of course, thank you for watching. We break news all the time on clickorlando.com. We will be on the air today at 4 o'clock with News 6. You can get the very latest on the road rage shooting and the plea deal that was reached, as well as our government shutdown is now moving into another month. And starting on Saturday, supplemental nutrition benefits for thousands of Floridians will dry up because of the shutdown. So we'll have all that coming up for you today at 4 o'clock. Have a fantastic Thursday. I will see you back here on Monday. Tune in tomorrow, though, for Penny. She'll have the show. See you then. Bye.